And with that, we should be coming live. The actual time to webinar start is just about 15 seconds from now. But as is the issues that we face with Google Plus Hangouts, they often we have a little bit of a spillage as soon as we start broadcasting live. But the room should be open and now, and so I need to welcome you all who should be now streaming into our chat room for this installment of my webinar, which is how to grow your YouTube channel. So welcome, YouTubers. I'm glad that you are all joining me right now. And let's just take a look. I'm going to take a quick look and make sure. Yes, indeed. Oh, it's always so comforting to click on the attendee list and to see it registering people coming into the room, because if there were crickets there, I would be quite upset. But indeed, you are all now coming into the room, so I welcome you. As we start, as we get things going, you know what I love to do right off the top of these webinars is get a sense of where you're all coming in from. So if you look on the right-hand side of the window here, you will see a chat window where you can enter, you can say hi to each other, you can chat, and let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know where you are in this big, wonderful world, and I will, in a few seconds now, say hi to you. The reason I say in a few seconds is the technology that we're using today is two pieces of tech. For the registration and to manage a lot of the webinar, we're using a webinar tool called Webinar Jam. And then we are using that to deliver a Google Hangout on air. Now, one of the unique things about the Google Hangout on air is there's about a 22-second delay between what I'm saying and what you're seeing. However, having said that, the Webinar Jam interface, this chat that's happening in the window, is real time. So it completely messes with my mind all the time, because I'll say things, 22 seconds later you'll hear it. But anything that happens here in the chat happens instantly. So it's you can imagine what it does to somebody trying to figure out where they are and what they're saying. At any rate, I see now the names are streaming in, and if I miss your name, if I miss greeting you, especially if you're from far away or some exotic place, my apologies, but the names go by really quick. But we have Tanisha from Phoenix, welcome. We have Mike from Seal Beach, California. Hey, how you doing? Provo, Utah, we have Nathan. And from the Big Apple, from New York, is Agatha. Sarah from Surrey, just down the street from me. Steve from Nashua, New Hampshire. Well, welcome. And we have more people from New Hampshire. Bet from New Hampshire as well. Harry's calling from Dallas. Simon from the UK, where it's probably evening. It's evening already, is it not, Simon? So good evening to you, sir. Kevin from Burlington, Ontario. Gail from Austin, Texas. I love seeing this. Stony Creek, Ontario is Pam. We've got Nicholas from Victoria. From Vancouver, Christine, well, just down the street from me. Northern New Hampshire is Dana. Southern Illinois, Corey, welcome. I'm so glad you're all with us. Let me give you a quick idea of what we're going to be covering today and how we're going to be doing it. I've just got a little note here to make sure that I do it. Oh, okay. If you have any technical issues, if the audio drops or the internet drops in your area, or we have any technical issues, which is known to happen delivering a Hangout, don't worry, this entire webinar is being recorded, and you will be sent a replay link exactly 1 hour after we end. You'll get a replay link that will be live until the end of the weekend, basically. So you'll have a chance to see it. And if there, for any unknown reason, is a problem with that, we have a second backup. I did this webinar, I presented it on Wednesday, 2 days ago, and it was brilliant. It turned out really quite well. I was quite pleased. Everything flowed, everything worked. So so if there's any problem with this at all, we will send you that replay link as well, so you can take a look. Exact same content going to be covered. Patrick is calling me from Blends Coffee in Vancouver. So Patrick has probably got kind of average Wi-Fi. So Patrick, you might be one that's going to be picking it up. You might be picking it up at some point if you do have an issue. So that's our fallback position. You'll be getting 2 emails from me following up with this, with the resources that I'm going to be talking about, and information about the course that I'm going to be delivering in a week, included in those emails, as well as the replay link. I'm not going to leave this webinar up, I don't believe, for as long afterwards, because I'm going to want to redo this in a couple of months, because this is a very moving target as far as growing your YouTube channel. You know, the thing about YouTube, for all of you YouTube content publishers out there, is there's no real book on how to do things right. it's kind of a voyage of discovery that we're going through. And for the last year, I have been hyper-focused on rebuilding my brand that I had on television for years into YouTube. And so what we're going to cover today is what I've learned in that period of time. So, it's just, we're all constantly learning new ideas. And the way that I do things here might not be the way that you end up doing things, but the basic business principles and the basic YouTube principles that I'm going to share, I think you will be able to use. Now, I'm going to just start a poll before I go into the presentation part, and I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask you if you currently have a YouTube channel, because I assume that most of you have a YouTube channel already. And I also like to use the poll tool. I like to play around with it really early on. But so let me know if you use a channel, if you have a channel or not, and kind of a little bit about what your goal is with this webinar today. Now, as far as the actual structure of the webinar, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be entering a bit of a slideshow to start. I'm going to be giving you the background and some of the best practices, and then I'm going to jump into a real demo mode. I'm going to jump into my channel and show you all of the things I do, my entire publishing process. It's a little nerve-wracking doing live demos over the internet, but I think it's important to see the tools, because every choice that I make as far as how I use the different tools within YouTube is really there's a thought process behind it around growing your channel and creating engagement. So I'm going to actually walk you through that as we do. I'm going to do that live, as I said, within it. Now, those of you who have taken my webinars in the past or participated, typically I like to do something called a hybrid webinar, where I will visit you in chat and stay in chat, but I'll be running a video that I've pre-recorded during the webinar itself. And there's a lot of good reasons for that, but I'm not going to be doing that this time because I think it's important to see the tools in real time. So I'm not going to be as engaged in chat. So please chat amongst yourselves, as long as you're not distracting to the class. Within chat, I won't be following the chat very closely till the very end. I'll take a look at all the chat comments after the webinar. But when we finish the webinar in hopefully exactly an hour, at the top of the hour, when we finish, I will stick around. And at that point there, any questions that you have, post them in chat. And anybody who wants to leave at that point can leave, but I will stick around and answer as many questions as you have. I'll stay until you finish asking me questions. So that's our agenda. Let me just take a look at the poll, because if you haven't entered the poll question, do it now, because I'm about to end it. I'm going to go into the poll, and I'm going to vote myself because I am participating as well. And I'm going to end the poll, and let's see the results. And 50% of you have a channel. 33% of you don't at this point. Last time we did the webinar, 80% of them had a channel already. So a lot of you are in discovery. And 17% of you are in the planning stages. The other thing about YouTube, though, for those of you who don't have a channel, but you might be in other social networks, is a lot of the basic principles that I'm going to be talking about work in all different social networks as far as creating engagement, building your community. So there's going to be cross-platform value here as we go. So let's get into the actual presentation part. So I'm going to have to share my desktop here, and we begin, and I'm going to go into my slideshow here, and let's start the actual presentation part. Oh, so excited, so excited. There we go. All right, so let me give you a little bit about me. Those of you who are coming to us from Canada, and it seems like there's a fair number in the room today that are Canadians, you probably know who I am, as I've been on television in Canada for about 2 decades. But for the rest of you, for 15 years, I was the host and executive producer of Dototech, which was a nationally syndicated TV show on how you use technology. We had a good audience and a really good run at it in Canada. We had about 20 million annual viewers. While I was doing the show, I played in pretty much all of the mainstream medias. I did 12 years of radio, another 8 years as a newspaper columnist, which is actually hilarious if you've ever read any of my stuff. My grammar, appalling, my spelling, worse. Nonetheless, I was a newspaper columnist for 8 years, and I had a great career in traditional media and learned the business of traditional media. I stopped doing the show about 3 years ago, and after a little bit of time kind of off in the woods finding myself again, I started looking for the next phase in my career. And I missed the ability to tell stories, and one of the skills that I have is as a presenter. I'm really good at explaining technology. And I was doing a lot of writing, but I didn't enjoy writing. I don't find writing is an easy process for me. So blogging for people, even though I could make a living writing, I wasn't enjoying that. And I really wanted to see if I could make a living instead doing what I do best, which is speaking and presenting, and creating video and explaining content to people. So in technology. So I started looking at YouTube because my idea was I would be better. It would be an easier production process for me and more fulfilling if I could vlog or do video blogs with my content instead of just writing. So that was where it began. So I started to look at the possibility of growing a YouTube channel. And for me, it was an eye-opening experience when I started to consider the business case behind YouTube after having come from the broadcast TV world for as many years as I was in it. And here were the big kind of aha moments that I had. The first one was relating to audience and customers. See, for all the years we were on TV, even though we had a good audience, they were never my customer. My customer was always the sponsors of the TV show who paid the freight. So even though I presented and I prepared the content for an audience, my real customers who I listened to, who I dialogue with, who I looked for their pain, were people like Hewlett-Packard and Apple and Microsoft and Intuit and Creative Labs and Adobe, the software and hardware companies who would pay to be sponsors of the show. They were my customers. I had an interesting relationship with my audience because they were actually held at arm's length from me by my other business partner, the television networks. And every time I went in to negotiate a new contract for a new season of our show or a new year of our show, the audience was basically held hostage by the network because they could disenfranchise me from my audience that I'd built up over all these years just by moving my time slot or by, God forbid, canceling my show. And I had no recourse because I had no touch points other than through the television network. I had no dialogue, no two-way communication. I could retain my sponsors because I had them all in my database and I sat down and had coffee with them and meetings with them, etc. But my audience, I had no real relationship with. It was very one-way. So that was a challenge. When I started to explore what was happening with YouTube, and with YouTube's changes to the comments area, making them far more I guess appropriate, forcing people to use their Google Plus profile. So it basically cleaned up comments and turned YouTube into a social network. All of a sudden, as I was looking at using YouTube, I got really excited because there was a coalescing of my customer and my audience into a single individual. My audience could be my customers and my customers my audience. And that for me was enlightening, and it created a direct line of communication that was wonderful. It meant that I could ask your opinion, you could tell me the sorts of things you wanted in content, and for me, it was a much more secure relationship. Now, to be fair, YouTube is still an intermediary, as is Facebook and LinkedIn. There's an intermediary between you and your customer. But now, for the first time, you can actually have a conversation with that customer or for me, for the first time, I could have that conversation with the customer through the channel or through the network that I was delivering it to. And that gave me reason to believe that this is revolutionary and groundbreaking as far as content creation is concerned. And it's something that I needed to explore and needed to see if I could make a way to make a living in this new space. So that was my beginning of YouTube. That's how I was, that was my introduction to YouTube. Now, what are we going to cover today? Well, I'm going to teach you what I've learned in the last year growing that channel. And I think I've had some good success. But I'm going to assume a few things. First of all, I'm going to assume that you have great content, or at least good content. I'm going to assume that you want to deliver it to a larger audience, that you're looking to create a brand and a channel that is vibrant, growing, and turning into a community. And I'm going to also assume that you're coming in without preconceptions, but you're willing to learn. Because as I say, YouTube is, doing this type of content publishing is new to us all. So the way that I do things in my business practices might be different than yours, but I want you to take a look at what I'm doing and then set it against the lens of your own content, your own business. And I think that you will find real value. My goal is for you to find real value in this webinar doing that. What are we not going to do? I'm not going to show you how to make a video or write a script or what camera and lighting I do. We have other webinars where we cover that content, and other content creators do a great job. I'm not going to help you overcome performance anxiety or any of that kind of stuff. I'm going to focus today on what happens after you've created great content and how you use it to build and engage your audience. It's really kind of YouTube as a social media platform as we go through this webinar today. It's not that I'm not interested in those other things. It's just that's not what this webinar is about. The keys to growing your channel you're going to learn how to build your subscriber base, increase the views, create community engagement, and I'm going to do all that by showing you my actual publishing process, what I do each and every time. I think one of the strongest, one of the things that's really helped me the most in growing my channel, and I'm a high volume content publisher. I'm publishing 3 or 4 times a week. So I have, I'm as an individual, and I do as a solopreneur, I do it all myself. So I needed to come up with a good routine, basically a checklist that I go through with a good solid reason for every action I take on a video, because they all have to value me. I'm going to walk you through that and the reasons I made those decisions. I'm going to show you my entire publishing process. Now, I wanted to talk to you about strategic versus viral growth before we got into it, because here's one thing that almost all content publishers on YouTube experience, especially early on in our career, is we are overwhelmed by the size and the vastness of YouTube. And any advances we make when we look at overall YouTube, they seem insignificant. So if a person has 200 views on a video, they sometimes will feel like that video is a failure because they see these videos with 200,000 and 2 million and 20 million views. So they consider that their paltry little 200 views is a travesty, and they should never have made the attempt, and they're embarrassed. Well, stop and think about putting all of those views into a room all those people into a room at one point and having them watch your product. It's pretty successful at that point. We have to measure our success and the growth of our channel set against our own experiences in our own business. We can't compare ourselves to others constantly, because for every person that has a 30,000 subscriber channel, there's a 300,000 and there's a 3 million, and the 3 million subscriber channels look at the people with 30 million and they look with envy, and they consider themselves to be maybe less value, and it hurts, it affects them as well. So we got to get past that. We've got to get past that insecurity. And the reason that it happens so often is we hear about viral growth. I interviewed recently the team that has a channel called Convos with My 2-year-old, and they were a viral success. Less than a year ago, they weren't on YouTube. They created a video which is very cute, of a fellow having a conversation with his 2-year-old daughter, but it's the words of his 2-year-old daughter coming out of his grown buddy, and it's hilarious to watch them. They posted their first video just months ago, and within hours, they had 10,000 views. They shared it on Facebook. They had 10,000 views, and within days, they were in the hundreds of thousands of views, approaching millions. And now they're approaching 1 million subscribers, and they instantly have a business. Their channel grew faster than a chia pet grows. And now, so they now have a big business challenge of sustaining this and figuring out how to monetize it. I don't know how to create and to promise viral growth. It's not something that I'm going to teach you now. I do know that strategic growth is a certainty within YouTube. If you follow the basic tenets that I'm going to lay out for you, and you determine exactly where the value of your channel is, and you stay true to your content, true to your audience, and you have good content. If you have crappy content, I'm not sure I can help. But if you have something to say, something to share, and you want to grow a community on YouTube, you can and you will by following some really good practices. It won't be viral, it won't be explosive, but within a few months, you'll be able to measure and be able to determine exactly how much energy you have to put in in order to grow. It will work. That much I know from the year that I have spent. Oops, I went too far. There we go. All right, so let me take you into the Wayback Machine, into the beginning of my YouTube experience. So it's not that long ago. After stopping doing my TV show, about 16 months after I did my last show, I published my first YouTube video as an individual, not as part of my TV show. So it was in May of 2012 that I started to explore the whole idea of publishing on YouTube. And I posted this first video that I created myself using ScreenFlow on my Mac with no training, no thought to any parts of the process. I just thought, I'm going to see what happens if I post a video. Now, I did have an active YouTube channel. Well, I had a stale YouTube channel. Our TV show had had a channel for years where we had a production assistant throw up every single video that we made on YouTube with no rhyme, no reason, and no thought as to what it was doing up there. And as a result, we had stumbled and bumbled our way to 800 subscribers who probably thought we were morons because we did no communication with them, no support for the video. We would just throw up videos and say, because I thought we had to be in YouTube, just like a lot of people, a lot of people start in Twitter the same way. We have to be in Twitter. We'll put up a Twitter account. Now what do we do with it? That's pretty much us and YouTube, and we had bumbled our way to 800 subscribers. So that was the start. Now, I thought I would be recreating and re-engaging with the Canadian marketplace. So the first video that I did was entirely focused on Canada. It was a product that's only available in Canada, and it's a god-awful video. If you want to have a laugh at Steve, go back and take a look at this video. It's still in my archives. It's got, 3,400 views. 3,400 different people have laughed at me over the years. But it was the beginning of my discovery process on what sort of content I could create, how what I did on television would translate into YouTube, learning my voice, learning my chops. And over the next year, I just dabbled with video. And I'm a big fan of Tim Ferriss and the 4-hour work week and the 4-hour body and all of the 4-hour chef, all of those 4-hour ones. His basic premise being that minimum effective dosage. What's the minimum that we can kind of spend on a product in order to make it as valuable as possible? And because I wanted to use video as replacing writing as a blog, I was looking for the most cost-effective and energy-effective way of producing video that would have the most impact. So that was my journey. Over the next year, I just put out the odd video as I tried different techniques and just improved the video, learned a little bit more about the tools. And within a year, I'd grown to about 2,500 subscribers, and I would put out sporadically a video or two a month with, not really any rhyme nor reason to the content, just playing with ideas, just trying to figure out and trying to have another aha moment about what was happening on YouTube. I went away for summer holidays almost exactly a year ago now, and while I was gone, I really had time to digest what I'd learned. And I realized that if I put energy in, I could experience growth out. So I committed in September, when I came back from holidays, to publishing weekly, which is the basic tenet. You have to be reliable for an audience to start to trust you, to allow you to grow. So I committed to publishing content weekly, and I committed to publishing my content, most of my content, at least weekly, with my productivity tools, showing the things that I'd shown in my TV show before: how to use Gmail, how to use Google Calendar, how to better integrate your iPhone in your life, the productivity type things that my audience trusted me for and that I was really good at creating. So in September, I committed to creating that level and that volume of content, and I set a goal, which is so important to do, of hitting 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I just barely made it. In December 28th, we hit 10,000 subscribers, and I was energized because I'd met my goal, and I decided to publish with higher frequency. And at the beginning of this year, I said, I'm going to see if I can turn YouTube actually into a pillar of my business. Can I make a living off YouTube? Is it possible to use YouTube in the type of content creator that I am and turn it into a business? And so there was a duality to that. I wanted to grow my productivity side, but I was also fascinated on the business side, which is where we're having this conversation now, because I knew that I'd really enjoy sharing this and learning about the business side of growing YouTube. We had good success. With higher frequency publishing, we grew by another 10,000 subscribers in the following 4 months, and today I'm just at around 30,000 subscribers. So I know now how much energy I have to put in, what my publishing frequency is in order to sustain this level of growth. That's not saying I can't grow faster or I couldn't do poorer, but right now, I know that I'm growing by about 3,000 subscribers per month. Now, when we talk about subscribers, it's not the most important statistic, but it is the most obvious statistic. When you look at your channel, the number of subscribers, having more subscribers is obviously good, but it's only good if they're engaged subscribers. And YouTube doesn't necessarily look at your number of subscribers. Instead, YouTube looks, when they're doing their ranking and all of that sort of stuff, at the number of views you have on your videos and the retention, how long people are watching. So YouTube really is looking for valuable content instead of somebody that just has lots of viewers that might not be actually engaging in their content. So it's very democratic as far as how it's ranking. So at the end of the day, these are the statistics that I look more closely at than my subscribers. Why do I use subscribers in all of my marketing, growing your YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers, and why do I talk about it? Because it's the social proof we all look for. When people visit a channel, they look to see how many subscribers there are. It's always right there on a badge, and you can see it, and you immediately make a determination of whether or not the content is viable or not, or valuable or not. One of your first determining points is the number of viewers they have. Just like in Facebook, how many likes a post has or how often it's shared, social proof is important. And number of subscribers is the easiest to attain social proof. So that's why I celebrate it so much. I don't really value it as much as I celebrate it. Does that make sense? I hope so. All right. We're going to jump into the demo part. How am I doing for time? I'm about 3 minutes over time. Not bad. So I'm going to jump into the actual demo part of our webinar today. But before I do, I had no other place to put this particular message, so I just plugged it in here. It's really important for us to understand one thing, and I think I was remiss in this at the beginning. If you create great content, if you have a good story to tell, if your videos should be seen by your community, then don't just trust the fact that you create good content in order for it to be celebrated. If you create something valuable, don't put it up, post it on YouTube and say, the universe will reward me because I've done such a good job. People will flock to my video and they will enjoy it. No, that's not going to happen. If you create great content, you've got to beat people over the head with it. You have to celebrate it. You have to shine a light on it. Creating great content is just the first step. And if you do it, it's really incumbent upon you then to share it and to make sure that it's seen. So at this point, so being passive, and humble. Oh yeah, I know I create good, nice content. I'm so glad that you found it. That's great, but it's not going to cause your YouTube channel to grow. If you create something good, you've got to put it out there and you've got to say, hey, take a look at this. I think you'll find it valuable. We have to celebrate our own content in order for others to see the value in it. All right, let's get now into the actual demo part of our webinar. And I'm taking you over now into, you should see on your screen, my actual YouTube channel. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this way is because I want you to know that I've got nothing to hide here. This is my real channel, so I'm not going to be telling you that I have more subscribers than I have. Right now, as you watch this video, if I refresh my screen, I am sitting at 29,424 subscribers. Woohoo, Steve! My views over the last 30 days, down a little bit in the last few hours. I don't know why, because I got a big dip here where something happened. I don't know what went on. I think we had good weather, but it's at about 140,000. I've been tracking at about 150,000 lately, so it's just slightly below what I've been tracking as my subscribers. I was getting about 3,000 subscribers per month. Right now I'm growing by 29,095. Now this number will change almost hourly as YouTube updates their statistics. And here's one of the problems with being a content creator that cares about growing their channel. It's like being on a weight loss program and stepping on the scales too often. I see this screen far too often in the day, and my mood increases or decreases with the improvement or deprovement or getting worse of my numbers. I honestly, it's probably not healthy to look at it too often. As I say, it's very similar to being on a weight loss program and being 2 pounds heavier or 3 pounds lighter as far as how it sets your mood for the day. Having said that, just yesterday I noticed YouTube changed the interface slightly. There's just a few subtle interface changes, whereas up in the upper right-hand corner we used to have all of our different options as far as the different tools to go into and the different screens to go into. Now they're all coalesced over here on the left-hand side, so they've cleaned up the interface just a little bit. So this is my first chance to demonstrate that. A little bit of coffee to help me go. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to go and take a look at the process that I go through with each and every one of my videos. And this is the video that I published 2 days ago, and I published it actually live on air during the webinar that we were delivering that day. But let's use it as a background because it's very typical of my video content. Let's take a look at it, and I'm going to show you each of the steps that I do in order to publish it. Now, the first thing that I do when I upload the video is, as the video is uploading, the very first thing that happens is I go in and I change the thumbnail image. Now, you see here on the right-hand side, YouTube will choose thumbnail images from your video, and for the most part, they look like crap. And there's nothing right about using their selected images. You can go through your video and you can define frames and use them as your thumbnail, but why not create a proper thumbnail image and upload it? Because it takes very little time. All you do is you click here on the bottom to change image, navigate your way through to whatever graphic you've created for it, and then upload it. And there are great tools for creating slates or thumbnails. The one that I really like these days is this one over here. It's called Canva. If you haven't checked out Canva, go check it out. It's wonderful for creating artwork. Now, I don't use it myself. I still use Photoshop for mine. But if you're just starting out, if I was just starting out, I'd probably choose to use Canva right out of the gate. Now, the reason that I use Photoshop and that I do the thumbnails right away is I want to create a consistency of brand. I want to create a consistent look to all of my videos. And I do that for a very good reason. Not so that the video looks good when people are just searching, but it's the kind of the ongoing process of how people consume content on YouTube, where your thumbnail makes a big difference. Let me just jump over and let's do a quick search. Let's just do if you were learning about Evernote, I'll choose Evernote because I do a lot of videos on Evernote. If you were just searching for something on Evernote, we can type in Evernote into our, I'm just in YouTube search. I'm not in Google search here. I'm in YouTube search. When we type in Evernote, we're brought to the search results from Evernote. And this is typical that you'll find. You're going to have a few paid for ads at the very top. The very next listing that's found is the Evernote channel, which is completely appropriate for it to be found in search. And then we get into the different videos, and my video ranks third. My best video ranks third in this. So typically, if you're looking for information about Evernote now, you'll start scrolling through this list to see something that catches your eye. And here's where I get excited because there's some consistency in branding. So here's one of my videos. Here's another of my videos about 5 or 6 down. And if we keep going down, oh, look, there's another Steve. There's another Steve. There's another one of my videos. Holy cow, I dominate this page. At least I think I dominate this page. And even if you don't know who Dottotech is at that point, you'll see my mug in all of those videos, in all of those thumbnails, and I'm starting to create a little bit of credibility, even if you don't know who I am. But let's say you don't watch my video. Let's say you don't click on your video or my video at first, but you follow the crowd and you say, oh, YouTube is recommending this Evernote or this one here by Evernote Scott. I'll do this one by Evernote Scott because I like Evernote Scott. He does a good job on his videos. And he just does YouTube videos. So we start Evernote Scott's video and you watch it. Now, how often when you're looking for information on YouTube, do you just watch one video and then go about your business? Typically speaking, you're going to look for a couple of different videos that are related to the content to get different perspectives, or maybe the one that you're watching doesn't cover everything, but you're going to watch a couple of videos in that space. Well, take a look at what happens. They suggest a series of videos with every time you click, every time you watch a video, and look what's suggested first organically, an ad, and then my video is selected first, as well as other videos in my channel are being recommended here within Evernote Scott's videos. This is gold as far as channel growth is concerned, because I actually, looking at my analytics, 42% of my new subscribers come not from any of my direct efforts, but by YouTube recommending my videos when somebody does a search for something else or looks at something else. If we type in Dropbox, let's do another quick search. In Dropbox, again, my video comes up number 1 here and number 3. But let's say you watch this video instead. Oh, and we click on this. Oh, look, it's Lab Rats guys. Those guys haven't been on the air for a while, and their video is still ranking. They used to do a great job. But look, again, all of our videos ranking here in the right-hand side. So you're watching somebody else's videos, and still Dotto is being recommended. This, having a consistent look, an appealing look that makes people want to click on you and makes it look like you're paying attention to your content and that your content is relevant to what's going on, what they're looking for. That is, to me, that's one of the most important steps that we can take. And it all comes from just the simple process of creating a thumbnail image and uploading it and not letting that crappy little video image show. So step 1, create a great thumbnail image. The other thing that I do, actually before I even start on my video, is I start paying attention to my YouTube SEO, or search engine optimization. And most of that is going to happen just in these 3 fields here in the center, with our title, our description, and our tags. Within YouTube, we don't have quite the same level of being able to play games as we have in Google itself. Did I say Google? Within YouTube, we don't have the same SEO options in order to kind of to game the system as they do in Google itself with normal search. YouTube is pretty democratic, as I say, about how they determine the value of videos. And they typically look at the performance of the video. But in order to categorize your video, you need to have good SEO. So the title of your video, very, very important. The description, almost as important. The tags, still very important. But let's start with the title, which I think is the most important part. When I first started publishing my videos, I just looked for pithy and interesting and humorous titles to put up. And while if you read the title, it might have helped, it didn't help me in search. What I do now, it didn't help me be discovered essentially. What I do now is when I've determined a title that a topic that I want, is I'll go into the AdWords search tools in the Google search tools, and I'll look for short and longer term keyword searches for how people are looking to find information that I'm thinking about talking about. So I'll actually do keyword searches, and then I'll try and frame my title and my description to match the keyword searches. Now, it's a balancing act because I want to make sure that I'm relevant. The last thing you want to do is pack your video with a bunch of keywords that don't really relate and then have people click away early in your video, because that's going to ultimately hurt you. So you have to honor the content and kind of play this straight up. But what it does by doing the research before you create the video is it allows me to modify the story ever so slightly in the content that I'm going to create, because I know now what the audience is interested in looking for. So for example, if I was going to do something on iOS, I just did this when I was looking at iOS 7, and I was looking at doing a video on changing your battery in your iPhone. But as I was reading it, I was seeing a lot more people were searching for tips as far as software switches that you could turn on and off, or features you could turn on and off on your phone to extend your battery life. So I modified the content that I was going to do, built the video based on that, and that video is performing very well. And I paid attention to the keywords, both in the title and in the description. So paying attention to those is going to give you benefit downstream for a long time. And the cool thing about publishing in YouTube is you're not locked. You're locked. The only thing locked once you publish a video is the content, the video itself. You can go in and you can change the title. So you can actually go in and change all of the words in the title, or change the whole description, change the tags. You can modify that content as you go along. So it's a great idea to go back and refresh some of your old titles of videos that are underperforming in order to see if you can kind of spruce them up a little bit and get them discovered. And you will have some success by doing that. If you've got good content that's not performing well, possibly changing the title, changing the description is going to help it get discovered. And that's one of the things that as a mature YouTube publisher, you'll start to get your head around. So first step, thumbnails. Second step, YouTube SEO, making sure that it can be found once people are searching for it. The third thing that I do with each and every video is, in my mind, one of the most exciting features that's built into YouTube. It's this concept of annotations. Come on, pause. It's too loud. Okay. Annotations are a layer which sits on top of your video that allows interactivity. And that interactivity is community building gold as far as you and I are concerned, because it's through the annotations that we can actually create a call to action. We can ask people to do things like subscribe to our channel, or visit our website, or sign up for our newsletter, or even purchase a product. We can do all of those things with this layer of annotations. Now, I should note that annotations are not equal opportunity communicators, because in mobile they still leave a lot to be desired. YouTube keeps saying that they're working in mobile. They're not really, I don't see them working very well in mobile yet. At some point, though, they will be working in mobile. But for now, they're still incredibly valuable. So let me walk you through what I do in each and every one of my videos. Is I actually, one of the things that kind of spurred on the growth, a big peak upswing in my subscriber base, was when I decided to not just trust that my great content all by itself, because it's so amazing, would cause people to rush and click on the subscribe button. When I first published my video, I thought that I was just so amazing people would do that. Okay, I was wrong. I listened to a bunch of other YouTube content publishers who said, ask for the subscription. So I started to. I created this little badge here, a little hotspot in all of my videos, which you see right here in this video. And I put that into each and every one of my videos fairly early on in the video, where I just said subscribe to my channel. Now, back early days, I actually pointed at it and asked people to subscribe. And that works even better if you do it in multiple dimensions, where you talk about it as well as show it. But now I just show it up there on each and every one of my videos. Within the first 2 or 3 minutes of the video, I put it up for 30 seconds saying, please subscribe to our channel. And it's increased my number of subscriptions measurably. Now, how we do that, this is what I call a hotspot, is I create the graphic and I actually edit it into the video, but then I create an annotation here in the annotations area that allows me to create a clickable link on it. So if I click on that, actually, so you can see the description of it. So this is the annotation. You can kind of see it. You can see the barrier that's around it, and that's movable. I can move that around. You see that. And then down here in the link area, let me just put it back to where it belongs so that it doesn't look terrible. It's kind of a little off center there. Just going to clean it up. There we go. Down here in the link area is I create a hypertext link or a URL link to my subscribe button, to the subscribe page, so that they can subscribe to it. And I use Text Expander as a keyboard shortcut, so I don't have to remember that as I put it in each time. Does that make sense? Now, even if you've got old videos that you don't have this graphics in, you can still do this. Let me just go into the middle of the video here, and let me show you how you can do it, even because there's a variety of different types of annotations that you can create. So I'm just here. Let's go to the 4-minute mark. I like doing things at even numbers. So let's go to the 4-minute mark, and I'm going to click on Add Annotation. And you see what happens? I have a choice of putting in a speech bubble, because you don't have to, it doesn't have to be a link. It can also just be information. I'll tell you before I create this, a great use case for annotations. It allows you to keep older videos fresh and extend the shelf life of videos. A couple of months ago, I published a video on Google Drive versus Dropbox. And literally the day after I published that video, and I know literally isn't the right word there, but the day after I published that video, Google changed the price of Google Drive. And they didn't just change it a little bit. Oh, no, no, no. They dropped it from $9.95 a month to $2.95 a month, rendering my video nearly useless. I didn't want to republish the video because it had been up for a day. It already had 1,000 views. People were talking about it. They were saying, it's a great video, Steve. I didn't want to do it again. So I went in and I created an annotation, which was just a title. And I just laid that into the area of the video where I talked about the price. And I said, Google changed the price. It's now $2.95. Click here for more information. So I was able to extend the shelf life of that video through using annotations. So it's not just about linking. It's also about updating content within your website. But for most of us, and for you right now, just adding a note. If I click on note, what happens is right here now, you'll try and type in this field here, but actually you have to type in the box on the right-hand side. You can just type in, please subscribe, and I'm not going to do a fancy job here. But you can actually say more. So you see the text is coming in, so you can choose the font. You can choose to make the text larger or smaller. You can position this graphic wherever it's going to be. Now, this will ultimately become a clickable link, and we can go in and we can change the background color. I like to use red. And you can also change the foreground color if you choose to. Now, that becomes, and I better spell it right, please become, hey, there it goes. Please subscribe. So there we have that there, ready to go. Are you ready? Now what I do is I click link. And it gives me these options for links. I can link to a video, a playlist, a channel, a subscribe button, an associated website, or even a merchant if you set up with a merchant account. I'm just going to type in, and I use, as I say, I use Text Expander, which allows me to just type in a keyboard shortcut, which fills in the entire URL. And this is how long it's going to stay up. The time says it starts at 3 minutes and 57 seconds, and it ends at 4 minutes and 31 seconds. I actually like to leave mine up for 30 seconds, so I'm going to make that 4 minutes and, 27 seconds is what I actually want. 4 minutes and, 27 seconds. We'll put it up for 30 seconds exactly. And if you have a graphic, you would just measure out so that it's up for the time. Choose where you want it to live on the video, and we'll put it right up there at the top, and then say save. Now, if you go back and you watch this video, there will now be a hotspot in there. When I go publish, there will now be this hotspot in the video where I've made that change. So it's as easy as that to add annotations. Every single video you put out, you want to engage with your audience in. So make sure that you use annotations appropriately. Once I've done that, I've got the video nearly ready to publish. I just have a few more things to do. One is you can turn on monetization if you're going to add AdSense ads, and if you have your YouTube account attached to your AdSense account, you can monetize your ads. We could talk for an entire hour on how to do ads and how to build business. And we're not supposed to actually share real numbers, like details of how much we're earning per click and all that sort of stuff in AdSense. And I know you're all wondering, is it worth it to add ads, and how much money can you make from ads? But I am allowed to share gross numbers with you, and you might indeed find them gross. But with now, as having grown my channel for nearly a year, and having grown to 30,000 subscribers, just under that, I earn a little bit over $1,000 a month from my AdSense ads on my channel. Is that good? Is that bad? I'll let you determine. But it's encouraging because I think about $1,000 makes a little bit of a difference. But now if I go extend a year, maybe I do hit that 100,000 subscribers, and maybe a year from now, all of a sudden that number is a little bit significant, at least for a cottage industry like mine. So It is not the only way that you're going to want to make money using your YouTube channel, but it is possible to make money through monetization. Having said that, if you're selling a product, this is all just good information that I'm giving away for free, so I'm comfortable monetizing it. But if you're selling a product, selling your coaching, if you've got videos that are supporting product sales, I would not be monetizing those, and I would be just giving them away for free. It's going to be your decision, however. Having said that, now we are nearly ready to actually publish our video. And the last stage is converting it from private to unlisted, to public. Oh, I didn't mention this, but when I upload every video, I always make sure I'm uploading it as unlisted because I don't want it exposed to the public before I've had a chance to do all of these modifications to the video itself. So I think it's really important for you to not, to always upload it as unlisted. Clean up your video, make it ready for prime time before you publish it. And typically speaking, I upload my videos a few days before they're actually being published. Once it's ready to go public, when you flip the switch from unlisted to public, a little bit of magic happens because for the only time in this video's life, you get to reach out to your entire YouTube network. In my case, the 30,000 subscribers will be updated that there's a new video from the channel they're subscribing to, Dottotech, with whatever description I put in here in this little field here. So I can do that just at that first point of publish. And then, because I've tied my other social media channels into my YouTube channel, I can also cross-post that into Google Plus and into Twitter and Facebook should I choose to at that moment. And the final thing I do is I choose what playlist it relates to. Playlists allow us to add a lot of structure, and it'll allow us a channel like mine, which has several different threads of content where I'm talking about YouTube publishing, but here I'm talking about productivity. It allows me to add those kind of common relationships so that people who are interested in learning about Google Apps just look in my Google App playlist, and they're not really learning about my growing your YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers, which might not interest anybody at all who's just wants to learn to use Google Drive. So this allows me to basically set up different shows within my channel, if that makes sense. Once that's all done, you click save, and you're done. You're published. And let's go back into our channel here. And I'm going to leave this because I haven't really changed anything. And once you've done that, you can go back out into your channel, you can go back to your dashboard, and you can watch and you can wait for people to start seeing and subscribing to your channel and viewing your video. This I do with each and every video that I produce. But it's not the end of the story, not by a long shot. I'm not done with this video as far as promoting it. As soon as I've published it in YouTube and made it public, then I jump over into my own website, into my own blog, and I create a blog post. There's the one for this one that I just created this morning. I create a blog post with that video. And because what happens now is I want to start driving people to my own site instead of to YouTube. This is really social media 101, but the bottom line is if the subscribers are in YouTube, even though you have access to them, you don't own them. YouTube still owns those contacts. And if they ever cut off your channel for whatever reason, you lose contact with those subscribers. And it's really no different at that point than I was on TV, right? So instead, what I want to do is I want to drive people to view wherever possible on my own website. And if you're viewing my videos there, when you click on the video, when you click on the blog, and I'll just look at the video that I posted before, I then have an opportunity to do things like invite you to support me, but most importantly, invite you to sign up for my newsletter. Now you become my supporter or my customer, because now once you're in my newsletter list, I can reach out to you at any time I want, and even if YouTube goes away, I will still have your name in my database and permission to contact you. So that is always my goal, driving people now towards my blog site as opposed to driving them towards YouTube. I'm still not finished because I take this post here again and I cross-post it into Facebook, and that's part of the overall social promotion side of the video. And here's this blog post which I posted a few days ago, taking a look at Evernote, and you can see that even though I only have 3,000, a little bit over 3,000 likes on my Facebook page, and I didn't pay to promote this at all. It's had about 1,100, 1,200 people see it. I'm not sure they've all seen it, but it's also had 3 shares. So it's doing quite well in the social engagement front. I also start to support it through Twitter, and I will support a video for quite a period of time. I'll promote it. I'll remind people that it's there. I'll push it out into social media several times over the life of that video. That's all part of that business of shining a light on it. In my videos that perform better, I show a little extra love to, and I even promote them more aggressively because I know the audience is interested in them. So that, in a nutshell, my friends, is my publishing process. Let me just stop screen sharing here and get back to me. There he is. Whew, how am I doing for time? I got 12 minutes to go. So that's exactly how I publish my videos. I hope you found that useful. Let me know. I'm going to ask you another poll. Let me jump into another poll here before I go on, because I have one other question for you. I'm going to end this poll, and I'm going to go, what is the goal of your channel? Tell me, what is the goal of your channel? Is it to make money? Is it fun? Are you looking for lead generation? If you are building a channel, what do you want it to accomplish for you? So let me know that while I'm doing this next stage. I will fill in that information. So I'm going to jump back into my slideshow here for a moment, because I'm going to, let me just make sure. I'm going to check my notes here. How are we all doing? Do we need a sip of coffee? Holy cow, I've been talking a lot. I have 10 minutes to go. We're going to make it quite comfortably, and then I'll be here to answer your questions. How are we doing as far as attendance? Do we still have lots of people in the room? 53 people in the rooms. Thank you for sticking around, folks. It is so good to see you. It's better that full. Okay, I'm just checking the notes. Okay, good. Everybody seems to be doing well. Okay, here's what we're going to do now. Is let me jump back in and share the screen again, because I am going to finish up the slideshow, and I'm going to talk to you about what happens next. And as is often, now I don't do an awful lot of courses. I've delivered a few courses in productivity space, but this is a topic which has compelled me and interested me so much that I've decided that I'm actually going to turn what I've learned in the last year into a course. Before I do that, let me just take a step back and tell you, this is a summary slide from what we just did. Let me go through this. Step one, first key to success, publish frequently. Determine what level of publishing you can support and stay to that. Be reliable for your audience. Step two is be found. That comes down to the titles that you've chosen. Step three, be seen. So found is search-based. Be seen. When Google recommends you, when they go through all the effort of recommending you because somebody else is watching some related content, make sure that your thumbnail is appealing and clickable, and encourage people to click on your video and watch it. Number four, ask for support. By ask for support, I mean literally, please subscribe to my channel. Ask people to do it. By the way, if any of you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Next is create a focus. By creating a focus, I'm talking about moving your video from YouTube or cross-posting it into your own blog. I don't care if it's Tumblr. I don't care where that blog lives. Posting that video into that blog and then focusing all your attention on driving people to that particular iteration of your video. Cross-promote it into your other social media, Twitter, Facebook, into Instagram, I don't care, into Pinterest. Cross-promote it, celebrate it, shine a light on your content, support it. And finally, and this is something that we haven't talked about at all yet, but it's be present. Be responsible in your channel. Check your channel comments on a regular basis. I do it twice a day, in the morning and evening. I go in and I comment, thank everybody that's thanked me for my videos, answer whatever questions I can, engage in conversations, and I'm getting lots of people now in my channel, in the discussions forum on YouTube, giving me phenomenal suggestions for additional content. So it's becoming a research tool for me because they're telling me what videos they want to see. What more can a content creator ask for than to have his audience say, Steve, I want you to produce a video on this. It's amazing. So what are the next steps? Well, as I say, I've developed a course, and I'm really excited about this course, especially starting right now. It starts on Monday, June the 30th. You've got very limited time to make a decision if you want to join our cohort for this. But if you do join June 30th, it means that over the next 2 months, through July and August, you will learn everything that as much as I can teach you that I've learned about growing your YouTube channel before the hot season for YouTube hits, which is the beginning of September. Numbers all increase in the fall. So getting your YouTube channel in great shape over the summer is a wonderful idea. Now, one of the way that I've structured this course is I send an email out each and every day with a little thing to do to your YouTube channel. Some of them are little, some of them are a little bit bigger. Why every day, Steve? That seems like a lot. Indeed it does, but I recognize one thing. A lot of the growth of my channel comes from the fact that every single day I touch my channel and I do something to improve it every day. you need to do the same. So I'm going to send you a little assignment every day, and everyone's going to have a purpose. Now, if it's too much for you, don't worry. Once a week, on the Friday of each week, I'm going to send you a digest, a video summary of everything that we covered that week. So you don't have to actually do it every day. If you choose not to, you'll be able to just do it once a week if that works better for you. But the bottom line is, over the course of the next 8 weeks, you are going to put all of the different baseline features into your channel and add them to your videos that are going to set you up for YouTube success, that are going to set you up for growth. And at the end, you're going to know how much effort you need to put in order to grow. So each day you get an email. Oh, this is so cool. Every lesson is an Evernote note. I based this course, this structure. I've done courses before where I've built a back end, and I actually spend more time supporting the back end, helping people with their lost passwords and all that kind of crap that goes on, than I did spend supporting them on the content. And my friend Lisa Larder, she's got these great courses on content creation, content pilot, content autopilot. She's awesome at teaching content, and she does a system where she just sends emails to her students. And it's very elegant, it's very clean, and it's tremendously effective. And she's so successful at it that I said, I've got to follow this, because this seems like a much better way than all of the throwing too much technology at it. But I'm kind of a productivity guy as well. And so I was thinking I could maybe do something a little bit different, and that is delivering each note as an Evernote note. So you'll get an email with a link to a note. Even if you don't have Evernote, Evernote's free. You can just sign up for an account. Then you can save that note into your own Evernote notebook. So by the end of the course, you've got a notebook that's nothing but growing your YouTube channel. It's basically an ebook that we've created in Evernote with all of the course content. Now, if you don't want to do that, it's still just like it's an email, because you can read each one. You read it in your web browser, and you can read each email. You don't have to actually put it in Evernote if you choose, but if you do, you're going to benefit from the fact that all of the notes are contained there. Every day as well, there'll be an accompanying video. Some of them are just a little short, they're going to be tutorial type videos, not highly polished and highly produced, but very information dense. Now, here is the brilliant part of this. The Evernote notes are linked, meaning that next time I deliver this course, when I deliver it in the fall, your notebook will be updated with all of the new content and any changes that I make to my content. Isn't that brilliant? I believe it is. Yes, it is. All right. Also included is going to be 3 Google Hangouts. We're going to do Hangouts like this, but they're going to be all question and answer, and we're doing one at the end of the first month, one at the end of the second month, and then we'll do one a month later after you've had time to digest everything. As well, anybody who signs up for the course, you're going to be perpetually invited into the future Google Hangouts for the next cohorts down the road. So you'll be able to join in. So it's basically a lifetime access to the course. The course content will update, and you'll also be invited into the future Hangouts in order to share with us. I am going to start everybody at the exact same time. We're all starting June 30th because I want you in the same place in the course when we do the Hangouts. So there it is. The course is automatically updated. You're going to be invited into the future Hangouts. It's pretty good. There is a money-back guarantee. Basically, if you don't get value out of it, my most important asset, as far as I'm concerned, is my reputation, and I don't want anybody out there being unhappy with it. So anytime before the last lesson, if you haven't found value, if you haven't been able to do it, if it hasn't made a difference, let me know. No questions asked, and we'll send you your money back. It's not about taking your money. It's about building you into my community. So please know that there is a guarantee. First lesson is Monday. By the end of August, your channel will be absolutely rocking if you follow this. Now, there's also a bonus. I've got one. They tell you in Internet Marketing 101 to give a big bonus and some prize. So one of you who signs up today will get a channel assessment. I do these occasionally. I enjoy doing them. They're a lot of work, but there's also a lot of reward. What I do is I charge $297 for it if you just want to buy it. But I assess your channel. Then we jump on a Skype call or a Hangout, and for an hour, one-on-one, I answer your questions, I prod you in different directions, I challenge you, I tell you what I like and what I don't like, both about your content and about your channel itself and your delivery and your overall social media strategy with your YouTube channel. And then in a couple weeks later, we'll have a 30-minute follow-up call when you've started to make some changes. So this is me sharing everything, all my experience from 20 years in broadcast television and now a year focused completely on YouTube, and sharing what I know and giving you my best opinion on your channel. And one of you who signs up today for the course will receive that for free. Isn't that awesome? I really enjoy doing these. They are time consuming, but I enjoy them. How much? I'm doing this. This is my introductory. And as I said, I really want to make sure that this content is awesome. So I'm going to offer it this term at $97. Next year, in September, I'm going to up the price because I do believe it's worth a lot more. But I'm going to be asking you guys a lot of questions as well as I go through it, as I make sure that the content is absolutely spectacular for next time we launch it. So you're going to get the 32 lessons, 8 summaries. There'll be 40 some odd videos, 3 hangouts, and of course a lifetime of updates and the beginning of a relationship with the Dottotech brand, all for $97. So you don't have a lot of time to make the decision. We start the course on Monday. I'm not going to be accepting any registrations after Monday. And that is the course that I'm going to encourage you to think about taking. And I've talked enough about the course. Now I want to talk to you and answer questions that you might have and see who's there. All right. So let's now, how are we doing for time? Look at that. Almost to the second. We are at the top of the hour, and the official part of the webinar is done. For those of you who are going to leave me now because of time constraints, thank you so much for sharing. I hope you learned a lot about my publishing process. I hope that if you haven't signed up for my newsletter, that you drop by Dottotech and sign up for my newsletter. Just because you've signed up for this webinar does not mean that you will automatically get my newsletter. You have to actually opt in at my website in order to get my newsletter, where I'll let you know about future webinars. You'll also get a weekly digest of all of the videos that I produce. So that's number one. Number two, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, get your tail over there and subscribe to my freaking YouTube channel, please. Oh, I'm supposed to put this pop in. Before I do, I forgot to actually sell my course. There it is. Click on that link to get the course. I should have done that, shouldn't I? Good sales guy, Steve. Okay, that's where you click in order. That'll give you all of the information and allow you to register and sign up for the course. Please do that. Oh man, I'm just, I just love this sales stuff so much. Okay. So with that, those 3 things: sign up for my newsletter, buy the course, and go to YouTube and subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed, because I'd be ever so disappointed. And so now I'm going to read here, and I'm going to answer questions. Good. Patrick, got it. Excellent. Good for you, Patrick. All right. So we'll need to look at the webinar again. I had tech problems, thanks. So Agatha, you will be getting a link within an hour. The email is scheduled to go out exactly an hour, and that will have the webinar link to this one. You know what I might do is I might jump into that. If anybody wants to see the previous webinar, which really covered the exact same content, they can let me know, and I'll send you the link to that as well. Learning a lot will definitely share my channel with your social network. Thank you, Tanshea. All right. Let's see, are there any questions you have about the content? Let's go. Okay. ScreenFlow for Windows or Camtasia for Windows? I've got the Camtasia trial, got it pretty good. Got pretty good at it. What do you think? Gayla, if you're in Windows, Camtasia is your best choice. For Mac users, I do believe ScreenFlow is a better option. What we're talking about here is the screencasting software that I use to actually create my videos. And I use ScreenFlow. But it's not available in Windows, unfortunately. It's the easiest tool to use. If you are in Windows, Camtasia is awesome. Take the trial, and if you go through I've got a webinar, a free webinar that you can and there's no registration required. It's available on my site. Called How I Create My Videos, I think. Screencasting Secrets, that's what it's called. If you go there, there's a 1-hour video where I walk through chapter and verse all of the gear, all of the hardware, the technique that I use to produce my video, and there's also links there. I think there's a special offer from the people that teach Camtasia. There's a wonderful tutorial on Camtasia that you can sign up for if you need help, but it sounds like you're getting pretty good on it as well. All right. We've got, next question is Sophia. A channel is like a brand. I'd like to personalize mine. What are the best sites for intro music and creating a blog website specifically for my channel? For music and creating a blog or website. Okay, well, as far as for music goes, I mean, there are some good clip music services. I've looked at them. I don't have them at the top of my head, but as far as creating simple little graphics and some simple little branding stuff, It's tough to beat Fiverr. I just downloaded or just ordered two things. I ordered a graphic for the course that I'm delivering, and I also ordered a whiteboard animation of the Dottotech logo being colored in by whiteboard. It cost me $5. It actually cost me $15. I spent the extra $10 to get the high definition video file, and I'm actually using that in some of my openings for branding. So don't ignore looking at Fiverr. If you're looking for, there are lots of crowdfunding graphic sites if you're looking for bigger packages to happen, but Fiverr is a great place to start for sure. Absolutely for sure. All right. Next question is, do you have a video on creating books in Evernote? No, I don't, Harry. I don't have a video on creating books in Evernote. I got lots of videos on using Evernote. I'm not sure if you're writing a book. Are you talking about the delivery of a book? If you're talking about writing a book, I don't think Evernote is the best tool to write. I think it's great for researching, for pulling stuff together. If you're a writer and you want the best tool for writing, Scrivener from Literature and Latte, a UK-based company. Their word processor is called Scrivener. It is an unbelievably good writing tool for writers. So take a look at that. Next question. Christine, when you embed a published video in your blog, do you write the entire blog article around it? Christine, I think you should. I think you should add context. What I do, because I'm lazy and I don't like writing, I know I'm bad at it, is I get a transcript created of the video and then I post that on the second day, on the second page. So I've got the full transcript of my videos. Now it takes me about a week to get that done, but I post that on YouTube. So we've got a closed captioning file, which I didn't mention, but it's a great process to do. And then I take that same transcript and I post it in my blog to add for search engine optimization. But if you have the patience, if you have the ability, I would definitely say writing a blog post around your video, supporting it, is the best of both worlds. So please, yes, do it. Camtasia is free. Camtasia, only a trial is free on Camtasia. You should know. It's the software is about $300 or so. Glenn, super as usual? Absolutely. Thank you. Not absolutely. Thank you very much. Patrick Novotny. Patrick, by the way, has a great channel. Look up Patrick Novotny's channel. He's the tie guy. He teaches us how to tie ties so that we can be noticed. He's got the most wild tie videos you ever saw. Thanks for sharing great info and how you accomplish it. Take care. Thank you, Patrick. Gayla, great. I saw your webinar, which was terrific. Thank you. Okay, good stuff. Great webinar. I'd love the link to the previous webinar. Okay, so what I'm going to get you to do, let me see, how am I going to get the links out to people for the previous webinar? I will do that. I'll get anybody that wants the link to the previous webinar to reach out to me on my website. There's a Contact Steve page on the website. Send me the link and request that I send you the link to the previous webinar, and then I'll be able to do that there. All right, for those of us who don't have a YouTube channel, do you have an idea? But have an idea. Would your course be useful? Yes, Glenn. I think that the course would be useful if you aren't yet publishing on YouTube. It's going to be more useful. Well, I'm going to say cautiously, yes. I think you really only learn when you get to do something. So the fact that you're going to the menus that I'm talking about and you're actually having to go through the exercise of writing the description or creating the graphic or massaging the video, I think that you need to do those things if you're going to be taking the course. So as much as I'd love to have you in the course, I think that that your time might be better spent, kind of developing your content, figuring that out. You're going to learn. This course is very practical as far as things to do. It is strategic to a certain extent as far as why we do these things, but it's hands-on. So if you aren't yet publishing, or if you're just about to, if you aren't yet publishing, I would say wait for the next cohort. If you're just starting publishing, if you're just ready to go and you've got 1 or 2 videos ready to go and you kind of want to get your channel going, then it would be unbelievably awesome because you'd be able to do everything right out of the gate. You wouldn't have to go back and do anything. So I hope that answers that question. Even though I do really want to see lots of people in the course. Good. Lisa, can you create a separate branded image for your thumbnail, or does it have to be an image grabbed from some of your videos? No, Lisa. Once you're a YouTube partner, when you first become a YouTube publisher, there's a short period of time that you can't upload custom thumbnails, but as soon as you verify your channel and do a few other things with YouTube, you can create graphics and upload them. So all of my graphics are completely outside of my video. I never use a screen grab. The other option is to choose a screen grab within your video and choose, or if you are at the very beginning, is just embedding a video slate at the beginning of your video and using that, which has your thumbnail in it. That's an option. But once you're a trusted YouTube publisher, you can create a unique graphic for each and every one of your videos. I got channel theme from looking at Creative Commons license sites. Good point, Deej. Yeah, that's a good. There's lots of free sources out there for finding different graphics, different artwork. And if you use Canva, it's going to give you some great ideas as well. Canva as a tool, as a graphics creation tool, it's got tons of templates and ideas that you can use. So that's a great one to go with. Scrivener looks almost exactly like Evernote. I have it. It looks a little bit like Evernote because of the way it structures things, but the writing process is completely different than Evernote, for sure. Okay, Julie, I have the same question as Glenn. I don't have a YouTube channel, but would your course be helpful to get me started? If you are ready to start, if you got a video and you are ready to actually start, yes. If you're just thinking about things still and you aren't actually ever going to say, go with a YouTube channel, then I think my course is going to be, you're not going to get the same level of engagement because you're not going to be able to do the assignments that I give you each and every day. So this would be great. Start. All you need to have a YouTube channel is a Gmail address and a video to upload. That's it. So you can start with just that. And if you're starting with just that, yes, the course would be perfect for you. All right. Raul, question for Steve. What is your view on YouTube channels created for smaller languages? Mine is 1.5 million Estonians. I think it's awesome for that. I have absolutely no problem. I think the things that I'm going to be talking about work regardless of your language and regardless of your audience, because 1.5 million is a pretty darn good audience, and I imagine there's a limited amount of Estonian content. So you've got a chance to really grow with them. And the beauty of your cross-promotional opportunities is you probably already have solid engagement in some other social networks in your language, such as on Facebook. And the fact that you can just market to that community with your videos I think, in some ways it makes your life easier because you've got a very focused marketplace to deal with. You've got a niche starting already just based on language. So I think it's awesome for you. Absolutely awesome. Harry, delivering lessons so they can have a book and the lessons that I send. Oh, he's a preacher. So he was asking about using Evernote as a book to create books. Delivering lessons so that I can have a book of all of the lessons that I send. I'm a preacher. I think Evernote might work well for you in that area, Harry. I'm just making sure if you buy Evernote Premium, if you upgrade for $45 a year, you can create shared notebooks, which might be better than individual notes. And shared notebooks you can definitely share with other people, and then any changes you make to them will be changed on their side as well. So that might be a really good distribution method. What it does is it almost becomes a website or a blog of your own that's dynamic but contained within Evernote. So it gives you that kind of structure. It would probably be good from that perspective. Okay, Evie is asking, what is that tool's name? Oh, Scrivener. There we go. All right. Gala, Camtasia $299. That sounds about right for Camtasia. ScreenFlow is only $97 for Mac users. Get ScreenFlow. It's awesome. Don, if I take the course now and I'm just starting, can I follow up the next run of the course when I'm actually up and running? Essentially, yeah, absolutely you can, because the fact is I'm building it more as a community than as just a single cohort going through. So the fact that you're invited into all of the future interactive events, all of the future webinars or the question and answer hangouts means that you can take it whenever you want and you can ask the questions. There will be email access to me as well. I didn't mention that in there because it's I think that's just a given that we're going to be supporting all of our students with any of these courses. Or at least I hope everybody does with their courses. So yeah, if you do take it now, if you do sign up for it now, you will get it for at least $100 less than I'm going to be offering it for next time, and then you can kind of get up and running in September when I deliver it next. I haven't decided whether it's going to start September 1st or October 1st. It's going to depend on how great a testimonial I get. What I don't have this course through, and the reason I'm charging $100 less, is I want to be able to say, John started with me with 35 subscribers and now he has 350. I want to have those samples of people, of proof of growth. So you guys are going to be my guinea pigs to a certain extent as I do that. But you get the bonus of me celebrating your channels to other channels as well. So that'll be kind of fun as well. So yes, that would work for you. Don. Lisa, you can pick your own thumbnails, but you can't pick your... I won't say that. There we go. Steve Candelero. Oh, you just scroll down. Access Nashua, small community TV station, but has big plans. Our motto is, okay, I'm not too sure what that was about. Can I just use a video I've created with some free software from Windows? Oh, as far as uploading video, yeah, you can use any video that you create. You can make a slideshow just with photos and a voiceover using Windows Movie Maker. That can be the start of your YouTube channel if you choose. Yeah, basically any any video medium that you want. You can shoot it with a camcorder, you can shoot it with a webcam, you can shoot it you can shoot it from your iPhone. A lot of people are doing whole YouTube channels just with video from their iPhone. There's lots of different ways that you can create your video content. Next question. Sarah's got to run. Thank you, Sarah. Have a great day. Tanisha says, thanks for looking forward to the reply. Everybody have the replay. Everybody have a great weekend. Good. So we've got people leaving the room now. Good. More questions. Christina, I just signed up. Thank you, Christina. I am the first, so you will check on Motherpreneur. Oh yeah, Christina. I met Christina. She's got a new channel called Motherpreneur. So I'm going to be checking that. And I think she has, you got just around 50 subscribers, I think, to start. So it's going to be really interesting to see how she grows because she's in a great niche talking to motherpreneurs. So we're looking forward to that. Have a great weekend, Christina. Thank you for signing up, Christina. I am looking forward to you participating in the course. How are we doing? We're 15 minutes over now. And so if there are any more questions, post them. I'll give you guys a few more seconds to post them. While you're doing that, I'm going to sip my my reward, my coffee. Because it's nearly noon here in Vancouver now. And at noon, I don't get to drink coffee anymore because if I drink coffee after noon, then I don't sleep. And then I just start playing with my YouTube channel. I start doing new things, which is bad. Okay. Good day, people. Good day, Steve. World Cup for the next few days. Yes, indeed. You will be watching the World Cup. Many people. Julie, once again, Steve, great presentation. Even though I don't have a YouTube channel, I'm considering joining on Monday. Have a great Canada Day weekend. Indeed, Julie, you too. And yeah, I hope to see you in the course on Monday. Okay, next one is Gala. It started with Snagit. It works well with no picture. The picture me teaching is possible. What do you think? Snagit is a fine tool to use as far as just doing grabs and screen captures and stuff like that. Actually, in the Evernote world, I prefer using Evernote's Sketch, but Snagit will do pretty much the same thing. There are no rules as far as in this course that I'm teaching. I'm not going to be talking to you about the content that you create. This isn't a course just like this webinar was not. It's not about how to create better content. That's for another course or another content provider, somebody else teaching that. There's some great courses. James Wedmore does good courses. Lisa Larder's course on content creation, awesome for YouTube publishers. Those would be people that I would consider right now, and I will think myself about teaching that in the future. This is about what you do once you've created that video, how you celebrate it properly, how you grow your channel, how you support your channel, and how you determine how much effort it's going to take for you to grow your channel to meet your business objectives. That's what you're going to learn from this course, okay? Good. Raul, do you know, does YouTube allow longer than 15-minute videos? Yes. Once you're a trusted subscriber on YouTube and once a trusted content creator, as you move, they have kind of different echelons that you work your way through in YouTube. You can indeed post longer than 15-minute videos. In fact, this entire video that we're recording right now will be posted on YouTube and I could put onto my channel, and it's going to be nearly an hour and a half long. Most of my videos are between 12 and 15 minutes that I create myself. But I also post all of my live shows and my webinars, which are all an hour long. And so, yeah, once you reach a certain point, and it doesn't take you too long to reach that point, you can do longer than 15 minutes. Good stuff. That's it. Well, I think that just about wraps it up for everybody. Let's see how many people are left in the room still. 29 people left in the room, which is a goodly number. If there are any more questions, one last chance, and then I'm going to be signing off and getting ready for the weekend. Oh, boy. It's a long weekend here in Canada. It's the Canada Day weekend where we celebrate our great nation, Canada. There we go. Sophia, what is partnering with YouTube? Partnering with YouTube is when you turn on advertising revenue in AdSense, and it allows you to start to generate revenue off your site. But once you do that, they also flip other switches for you and allow you to do things like start to add thumbnails. It's a shortcut for doing that kind of stuff. So it's basically YouTube. You're telling YouTube you're going to be in business with them. You're going to create content, and they're going to be a delivery mechanism. And then you sign. Basically, that's the level of partnership that you start with at that point there. Christina, I have 75 subscribers on Motherpreneur. Okay, I said 50. I'm sorry, Christina. I was remiss. 75. But you will be taking the course when you top 100. That will be good. Excellent. Are you going to walk us through becoming a trusted publisher in YouTube? That's a good question. It's not part of the course that I put together because so many. Let me think about doing that as a bonus or adding that as a feature. It's something that I haven't got in the course outline right now, but there's no reason that I can't add it. And I'm just going to make a note of adding it right here. That's one of the things about the way that I do my courses anyways, is they are a bit iterative. And if people ask me questions like that during the course, and if there's something missing from what I considered to be important as far as the content, but you folks say that there's something else that you want to learn, well, then I'm going to make sure that I cover it. So I'm going to say right now, yes, we will walk you through the process of becoming a trusted publisher because you want to know it. And I want you to know it. Good. Nathan, see you later. Ciao. Christine, thanks so much. You thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed delivering it. I'm always a little bit anxious when I do these things live because so many things can go wrong, but it seemed to go pretty well. A few people had a few technical issues I saw. And of course, one I'm actually presenting, I see the slideshow too. I didn't even know if people were having trouble or not. So, but it seemed like most people made through it fine. Okay, folks, I think that's it. We're nearly 20 minutes over the hour. Those of you who have stuck around, thank you so much for staying with me. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you learned a lot and hope that you found today to be really valuable. For those of you who have signed up for the course, welcome aboard. I'm looking forward to seeing you. You will receive one email in an hour. You will receive another email in about 12 hours or 24 hours from now. And so you'll have 2 more chances to consider signing up. I will pick one lucky winner that's going to have a YouTube channel review from me. And Agatha, you'll probably sign up after you see both the recorded videos. Agatha, I'm just stick around. I will private message you since it's that important. I'm going to actually everybody that's left right now. I'll just message you all. Let me just figure out how to do this. I will message you all the replay link to the other one. Do you want to stick around for a second and let me get to that? If you stick around for a second, I will get to that. And because I'm looking on my thing right now, so I have to go find the link. Don't go anywhere. I'm still here. Oh, be quiet. Be quiet. Shh, shh, shh. Don't make noise. Here we go. I've got to go here. It'll take me just a second, and I will share the link so that you can all watch the video that I posted. Copy the link. There we go. From the previous webinar. All right? I don't know if it was better or not. There's the link to watch the webinar I gave on Wednesday. Don't tell the rest of the people I gave it to you. They're going to be some mad at me for not sharing it with them. Agatha, shh. All right. Just logged in with the iPad and it worked well. Oh, good. Oh, Bruce, that's good to know that it worked with the iPad. I'm always worried about delivering these webinars in Google with iPad. You know, if I was actually streaming video with my hybrid type webinars, you would not be a happy camper right now because it always breaks for them. Okay, got it, Agatha. Good stuff. I hope to see you on Monday in the course. For the rest of you, that's it. We are going to wrap things up right now. I'm going to stop broadcasting. Thank you so much for sharing with me. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you all on YouTube. Till next time, have fun storming the castle.